Journal entry, 28th of the month of October, in the year of our Lord, 1092. Over the past year, we have gathered a massive army of over 2,500 men, faithful soldiers, many from companies that had disregarded their well-being, disillusioned, downtrodden. They have chosen to join me, to be part of something bigger. With that force, I am confident we shall be able to face what adversity might befall us in the upcoming negotiations. With the thundering of hooves shaking the ground, we are moving towards the castle of Carlat in the county of Auvergne. Count Robert, the king's marshal, has been suffering recently under the assaults of Duke Guillaume the Kinslayer's attacks, and parts of his lands are being ravaged by the duke's troops. The vile duke has an alliance with the young regent of Valois, who may supply troops in his aid, but it is King Eudes himself that worries me. If the king, whose greed for land and conquest knows no bounds, in part to finance his indulgent waste of these funds, if the king decides to go against the edict of the Holy Father, who has granted upon me claims on the lands of Toulouse, to drive out the godless duke and liberate the people from his yoke, then we may be facing a foe more formidable than any we have faced before. My leadership, my knight's skill with the blade, my followers' faith in me, all shall be put to the test. Before the Lord, I shall declare that I am worthy of the legend I represent, that we are the blessed light in the darkness of these times, and we shall fulfill the will of the Lord as pronounced by his representative on earth, or perish in the attempt. But before we make our move, there are a few things that need to be sorted. First, I have a martial lifestyle perk, and there are actually three very interesting ones that I could take. I could take the Never Back Down, which would give +5 advantage in battle. That would be quite useful. And reduces the friendly fatal casualties, which also be quite useful. We could use Living of the Land, which reduces the provision loss and increases travel safety. Or we could get Envelopment for a 25% counter efficiency on the men-at-arms. So all of these are useful. It's really a coin toss. I'm thinking of doing Envelopment for the counter efficiency or Never Back Down, because we can sort of deal with the provision situation simply by and the army that we're riding with is having a large appetite, but I think Never Back Down would be a good one, just to reduce the losses on our side and to get a higher advantage in battle. So that's one. We're currently at camp at the castle of Dijon, but we have to move south towards Toulouse. Toulouse has actually been invading Auvergne, and the king is ever expanding. Burgundy has been under threat already. He's expanding into Iberia. He's driving off the English, and apparently Bologna has been lost to the Holy Roman Empire. So it is entirely possible that the king is going to take a front with that as well. Oh yeah, and the islands in the south here have been captured too. So we are to liberate Toulouse, which by the command of the Holy See itself, from the accursed kinslayer Duke Guillaume V. And that's what we're moving into. But we are going to need more supplies, because that is actually going to get relatively tight otherwise. Two more things that we need to do, however. Three more things. I shall be holding a mystical communion once more, which is going to give me divine guidance. So let's get that underway. And there are two adventure decisions that I would like to take. One of them is the Travels of Bernard de Villeron, which costs 1,500 prestige and 500 coin. But this can create a book artifact that I can pass on to my son, and that's something I'm really interested in. So we'll do this. And with that, the bright sun rising over snowy mountain peaks, the effervescent gutters of sprawling cities, the temples harboring the most pious and the most wretched souls. The work of men across centuries, nature's wonders crafted by the hand of God Almighty, I have seen it all. I have talked with highborn and lowborn alike. I have seen people live in a myriad of ways. Such a trove of astute observation, of my faultless reminiscences would be cherished marvel for anyone with but a spark of curiosity, should I decide to write it down. So now I can either get 5 stewardship perks. I could get the Travels of Bernard de Villeron artifact, or I could just postpone the decision. No, we are actually going to write down my life experience, because the future is not mine, but it is the one of my children. So for them, I shall be creating that. And that means we have the Travels of Bernard de Villeron artifact, which is giving 40% lifestyle experience or plus 20% prestige. So for now, I'll be wielding it myself. But when I eventually hand over the mantle to my son, then he shall get it. And requirements are not being the artifact creator. So for him, it'll be plus 40% lifestyle experience. So we are getting a further prestige increase from the Travels of Bernard de Villeron. That, and we have the legacy of de Villeron. So in the realm of adventurers, the House of Villeron shall be remembered. And because our level is at Exalted Among Men, we have enough followers, we have patrons, pavilions at level 4, and we have completed 53 contracts. We'll gain 300 legitimacy once we beat the evil Duke in Toulouse. If we do, we get some levies, and we get the adventurer bloodline. So for the house, this is, I assume everybody in the house will get this. So that is actually, that is actually quite impressive as well. All right, for the Lion de Beauvais, all right, we'll take that as well. For all of those who follow me, I offer a safe place to rest and a chance to make their mark on the world. In my world, there is no room for rampant corruption or skullduggery, and all we shall do is for the betterment of the realms we wander through. That is what is meant to be a de Villeron. For as long as I lead the Lion de Beauvais, we shall punish the wicked. We can get 3 contracts, or we can get the legitimist law. That's interesting, because that actually opens up another possibility. So right now we have the swords for hire. We can't actually take the legitimist camp purpose because we don't have a claim on a kingdom. So the claim we have is on the Duchy of Toulouse, but it is not on the kingdom itself. So that means that wasn't possible. So I was fully expecting to effectively declare war on Duke Guillaume himself, which meant that probably the king would come to his aid. So we would be facing the full army of France. We could, however, if we go to legitimists, we may be able to just take on Toulouse directly. That said, we would have to spend probably another few years or so to build up the camp with the respective buildings, because we currently don't have that. Still an interesting option. We might actually do it, and because I really don't need the Justicar contracts right now. So we will get the adventurer bloodline, and we are actually now officially. Where's my camp? We are now officially legitimists, which means we are out to legitimize the claim that we have on the Duchy of Toulouse. By force if necessary, and we will see if the king actually joins in this endeavor. But it makes it official, and it unlocks a few buildings which we're not really going to build, but for now that's just the camp purpose that we have. So We are now officially on a quest to claim the lands that have been given to us by the Holy See itself. We have communed with God for our holy quest, and we have gotten 300 learning lifestyle, the divine guidance, and some more on the wise man trait. So we're looking at that. Still making our way through. And it looks like by arriving in Auvergne, the king himself has revoked or has renounced our come purpose. We have been called mere wanderers, and we have lost the title of legitimists that we have declared ourselves as. It seems that France is ready to face us and to defy the Holy See and defy the direct order from the Pope himself for us to take over the lands of Toulouse. As such, we may be facing a much greater foe than what we have previously faced. So once again, we shall adopt the swords for hire purpose, and we will go and will not be for hire anymore, but we will now raise our armies and have parley with Duke Guillaume V. and potentially with an emissary from the king to press our claim. We have held parley with the Duke and with a messenger from the king himself, who has told us in no unequal terms that we are no longer welcome in France, and that he will honor his alliance, or he will honor his liege, his liege being over his vassal Duke Guillaume. And as such, we will face the wrath of the king if we are to take up arms against him. So the king is in open defiance of the papacy at this point. We are right and justified, but we will have to, as the marshal no longer welcomes us in Carlat, we will have to retreat and set up camp in the barony of Arles, at Arles Castle, where the young Queen Francesca reigns. And from there we shall begin our campaign, because it is to arms at this point. There's no the attempts at diplomacy have failed. To be fair, we had never much hope to begin with. My son Alderic has come of the age where it is time to teach him the ways of the sword, especially with the upcoming battle. So we are going to give him a trait of our own. Let's see which ones we have. So we've got open terrain expert, that's plains, farmlands, and steppe, or rough terrain expert. I think it's pretty much a coin toss. So actually, let's see. What is given that this is all plains in Toulouse. There are some hills here, but mostly plains. Okay, so open terrain expert is what we're going to be doing. So we'll do some drills and we will go into the upcoming battle. We are ready. We have 2,600 men under arms, and we shall now declare war on the Duke for the Duchy of Toulouse. We're not legitimists anymore, so we will simply invade the Duchy of Toulouse, because that is the claim that we have, and we shall gain the contested title of Toulouse, and potentially a few vassals that we will have to deal with afterwards. But that's what we're going for. So we shall declare the invasion of the Duchy of Toulouse to depose the evil Duke, the kinslayer, and the greedy king. He is profligate and he is a conqueror, a treacherous lucky. The king has defied the Pope, and as such we shall probably meet the armies of France in battle. This is not the outcome that we necessarily wanted to, but we shall face down all of France, because we are the light in these dark times. We will begin by moving into Montpellier, and we shall, in fact, ideally we'll just move directly to Toulouse. Let's see if we can bypass Montpellier, and no, we will lose too many men. So we will besiege Montpellier first, and we will see we will see what the enemy was mobilizing. Alderic looks bored after looking at the military tactics on the map for hours by now. I get up and throw him a sparring sword and shout, "Let's go outside, first direct hit to the body wins." We enter a nearby groove. The fight drags on for a while as we can't reach each other between the branches. Eventually, he spots a clearing behind me. "Now I got you," he exclaims and pushes me into the open. With the wide field, his movement is too fast and unpredictable. He lands an easy hit on me. "You will be a great commander one day." Definitely. All right, we've got enemy mercenaries moving out, but for now we will begin by wresting control of Montpellier to make our way towards the Duchy of Toulouse, which is what we are eventually aiming to control, all in all, and we shall gain the title. Now we have to keep a close eye on. I have to keep a close eye on who is going to come in with that, but the siege is going to progress, I think, relatively quickly. We've got 50 catapults at this point. I don't want to assault the fort. First of all, we haven't breached the walls, and second of all, I don't want to waste my men. Zizek continues to jot down more and more tales from the Night of the Swan until suddenly she pauses, a sly smile on her lips. She is my master bard, that's why she does that. "Now I did hear one rather interesting story," she begins slowly, "of a certain drinking contest with an ogre of all things. How mightily our hero did to be able to drink such a creature under the table. Perhaps a demonstration would let me truly appreciate such a feat. I don't know where this tall tale came from, but a certain amount of pride begins to prickle." So we can try to convince her. We can. Well, we're not going to back down from that. "Get me a barrel and I shall prove it." There we go. I swig the whole barrel, and then we continue with the siege here. So far, we haven't heard anything of armies raised from the French, so we shall see. He is probably also busy in various conflicts elsewhere. So we shall see what the future holds here, but that is not interesting. But for now, we'll secure Montpellier, and obviously all French. We are considered an enemy of France at this point, and to get Toulouse liberated against the ungodly king and his vile vassal. All right, Montpellier is under control, so we can make our move westwards, and I think the next one would be, if we want to paint a straight direction to Toulouse, we'll move to Béziers next. That is actually going to be costly. Do we have to go north? Do we have to go northwards? I'm trying to avoid losing. We might have to fight ourselves. We can't bypass the castle at Cévennes because they would come in behind us. So we'll have to besiege that as well. And this is obviously slowly going to increase the war score that we're getting. Still no sign of enemy forces at this point. So we'll besiege the fort and we will see where we go from there. My spies have informed me about a hunter causing a ruckus at the local tavern. The man has been spending large amounts of gold and bragging loudly about the great deal he struck with a fancy lady in pearls and silk. Apparently, he drew a map of the local hills for an unknown noblewoman. The spies think the lady must be scheming against me or one of my subjects. We will get more vigilant for 5 years. So let's we don't know an awful lot yet, but it looks like we are already making enemies. Of course, we are taking some losses as we go, but many things happened. Volkart von Nassau has come of age, and he is now one of my knights. So he is the youngest knight. He's the son of Takulf, one of my second, and the deceased Daria. So he has inherited some traits from his father and from his mother. His skill with the blade is not the greatest, but who is to deny a 16-year-old young aspiring knight his place in the battle of his lifetime? Meanwhile, the wonderful tale of the Knight of the Swan continues to spread. More and more folk from all strata of society have begun to weave their own perspective into its rich tapestry. So says Cicek, at least. Lord and lady alike are certain such a tale sets out their undeniable right to rule, she muses. But if you wander into a local tavern, it will be rife with those who say it's dedicated to the common small folk of the land and their honest, industrious ways. I think definitely commoners is what we are going for. Yeah, it's about the small folk. It is not about the nobles and their ways. All right, we are besieging Seven in order to take the castle and make our way further west. If we bypass the castle, then somebody might cut off our baggage train or assault us from the rear. So for now, we are just slowly making our way across the country, still awaiting any sign from a local lord who would dare oppose us. It looks like so far either the king's troops are busy elsewhere, or he does not see us as a sufficient threat just yet. As we are besieging the castle at Milo, which is, I think, the second of the last that stands between us and Toulouse and the accursed Duke's home, a faithful visitor appears. The campfire crackles, illuminating a figure entering our circle. He moves with vigor despite the lateness of the hour, hand wrapped around a walking stick. Those standing guard are already intercepting, but I have them away. Do you have a place for a man of God? He smiles at me hopefully, dirty clothes rustling in the stiff breeze. A wandering priest. All right. Absolutely. We could... who do we have? Forget the heathen. Okay. So he is a content zealot, and he is a priest, and he knows his way with a blade. We could do with a man of such worldliness. So he might be able. We might be able to replace fallen or passed away brother Thibaut by having a new priest, and he is a miracle worker. So he has some unconventional ideas, which matches very well with what we're doing. So definitely, let's see if we can get him. Yes, he has joined our camp. And such, we have once again a sign that we are on the righteous path and that we are spreading the word of the Lord Almighty in these dark times. And there is there's potentially the first enemy force. So there's the first army of Quercy, who is potentially, who is directly... and they have encircled Aragon by now, who is directly under the control of the king. So we will see where they're marching. They seem to be busy in Spain, so maybe we have chosen the time wisely to make our moves. Once again, we're not assaulting the forts because the casualties are too massive, and we do need to preserve. I do want to preserve the men that we have available. Quercy is assembling east of Toulouse and has been joined by Fraga. So we are facing a fair amount at this point of pikemen, which is going to be a bit of bit of a problem for our cavalry potentially. So we do want to march across the plains if possible towards Toulouse, and we will rely on our other forces to deal with them if necessary. But it looks like once again they're busy in the conquest of Spain, and these are indeed dark days. Okay, Raoul de Villeron, my son's diplomacy has increased. That is great. Let me have a quick look if there is any. Okay, we can do. No, we can't really influence Alderic anymore, I think. How about Raoul? Yes, we could, but he's already just. We could try brave or stubborn. I'm gonna try with brave, and it's a 60% chance. So, yeah, let's see. We'll give it a try and see if we can get through to him. But 20 days, and we will be done with the siege. This has failed, unfortunately. He is too afraid. He's holding the doll, and I think, unfortunately, this has not worked out. So he is nothing like my first son. I will have to accept his different qualities. And it looks like the French armies are moving abroad, to be honest. So so far we have been moving unopposed and have been besieging our way through the country towards Toulouse. I think Albi, the castle of Albi, Countess Adelaida, we cannot bypass again. Alternative. No, we actually have the first castle directly under the control of the Guillaume the Kinslayer, so we can move north and besiege Rodez. So that's what we shall be doing next. We're just looking to control the country and potentially capture the Duke himself, if we can, unless the coward escapes, because we do have to. We do have to move to control as much territory as we can as time goes by. And I am getting on in age. Actually, Peyronel is ill, unfortunately. She has fallen ill over the winter during the siege. And my followers are getting old. Sophie, if I'm looking by age the other way, Unigild is already in his 60s and poor health. Sophie the Honest is in her 60s. Richard the Brave is ailing from being a drunkard, but he has been retreating into himself. So I think my friend Richard is not in the best of shapes. My caravan master Jeanne is getting on there in age as well. And Chichek, my bard, is already in her 50s, the wife of Thierry, one of my earlier followers. So all in all, we are all getting on there in age, and it is time to see that we can end this. So despite the fact that she's ill, my wife Peyronel has fallen pregnant again. Let's hope that is not going to cause any kind of trouble, because obviously during a siege and a military campaign is not the best time for a pregnant woman, but that's how these things go. Edwig of Exeter has fallen in love with a local woman, Inne, I think. Inne. He's rich. He can pay for the dowry, and I am all in favor of the happiness. We can do with more children, because most of I think Volkart is the only one that is not mine. And Ebon, obviously. Ebon is the son of Charles and Elisa. So he is. Has he a guard? Does he have a guardian? Yes, he has. His father is a guardian, as he should. Right, let's complete the siege of Rodez. I'm still keeping an eye out for any enemy troops. So far it seems the king has no interest in confronting us on the field of battle. And with that, we are moving directly onto Toulouse, and we will see if the cowardly duke will stand for battle, or if he is if he is giving up his title without a fight. I would not put that beyond him. Meanwhile, we're all getting on there in age. We're seeing the 4th Army of Fraga returning, which is potentially a force. This is Duke Guy's army. They're returning from. I think they're returning from the war in Spain. But we will see if they're not numerous enough to pose a threat to us. So we shall leave it at this. My son Raoul seems to have been having a difficult time at our latest feast. He buried his face in his food, and the only talking he did was asking for serving after serving. So he's gluttonous. We could make him impatient instead, or shy. Raoul de Villeron. He is gluttonous, but he's also pensive, lost in thought. Whereas, same with his brother, really. Is there anything here we could do? No. So, it is considered sinful, however, under the Catholics. So he could either become impatient, which would, or he could become shy. I think, impatient. We'll go with impatient. Better than gluttonous. Gluttonous is sinful. Right, siege is progressing. The 4th Army of Fraga is moving off. Does not seem to be intent on giving battle, and as such, leaving us alone here. Meanwhile, the king in his hubris has declared himself emperor of Francia, and probably to challenge Kaiser Heinrich IV himself directly in disobedience of the papacy. This shall not stand, and we seem to be the last vestige that is between him and larger trouble that he might bring upon the world. We have won the siege of Toulouse, and let's see who we have taken captive. We have Constantia de Toulouse, the daughter of Duke Guillaume. We have Martin, and we have Jocelyn. I have no quarrel with each of them. We shall let's see if they give us any leverage. No, none of them gives any leverage. So we shall see. We'll get the Duke to pay a ransom for his daughter, and we shall just release. We shall release the other two, because I have no use for people who have gotten themselves imprisoned. So with that, we do control Toulouse. Still, the Duke is nowhere to be found, which means we are simply going to continue and move on to the. Let's have a quick look. What is the current Duchy of Toulouse looking like? Duchy of Toulouse. Okay, so it's this territory here. So that's what we need to control, which means north, actually. Then, so Quercy Castle is our next target. And my first daughter has been born from Peyronel, my 6th child, I believe, Élodie de Villeron. She has inherited her mother's intelligence and my physical strength, and she is definitely going to be a great person. So we will obviously get her mother to take care of her. There she is. And teach her teach her the ways of this world. We do have to keep a bit of an eye on the company of the false earl. That might be a mercenary band, but it looks like they're not interested in besieging any territory. So we will continue. A few of our legend promoters actually are dying as things go, but the legend is definitely spreading at this point, and not far enough. We're in 23 baronies, so we're not at the 100 to increase the quality. We could complete the legend, but we'll let it run for a little bit longer, at least while we are in this conflict. Meanwhile, a message from the Pope arrives. Christian pilgrims to the Holy Land suffer all manner of abuse, and their routes are fraught with danger. In order to protect the pilgrims and secure Jerusalem for Christ and the faithful, His Holiness Pope Sergius has accepted the possibility of an outright invasion by joint Christian forces. That might actually put a little bit of a dampener on our plans, because if we are to join the Holy Crusade, if one is to be called, then we would have to abandon our mission here. So far, I think we will have to deal with that when we get to it. But for now, we have again 3 prisoners: Count Isarat and his children, Petronilla. I'm not sure how she was involved, but we shall of course just release her. We have Azalis de Figeac. She is the daughter of the Count. So I have no quarrel with the Count. So we shall release them. We shall release him and his daughter. We do not ransom children if not necessary. And then we will move on to the question is, where do we move next? I think we will secure the lands in the south here. So next up would be the castle of Albi, just to get a little bit of strategic depth in case there is any kind of counter siege happening. But so far the Imperial French troops seem to be busy elsewhere. It is entirely possible that the king or the emperor has only stood up for the Duke on paper, in name only, and has no intention of actually meeting us on the battlefield. So we will see. We'll see if at some point they would simply acquiesce to our demands, or if they still decide to raise the armies and meet us in battle. And last for today, we have a martial perk available, and I think that's where we are going to use the envelopment. Yes, so unlock that. And we shall see how this campaign is ending. So far, we've been mostly just besieging and controlling territory. Liberating Toulouse. It looks like the Duke might have, I'm not sure if he's fled or if he's just holed up himself somewhere in the castle, but we are in control, so one of his smaller possessions maybe is where he's left to. And the Emperor, yeah, he doesn't really have, does he have any other war going on right now? No, not really. So far, he is simply seems to be. He's probably busy with the conquest of the islands. Yeah, that's entirely possible that he's fighting the Sultan. All right. Well, if that's where he wants to set his priorities, the less blood we shed, the better.